sure that Kyler Murray is big enough. This is Tom Brady. He's not just going to retire. Whitey, big fan of the show. Appreciate I've got Brian Murphy to my left, making sure everything's smooth, crispy, buttery. James Harden is systematically ruining the game of basketball. He's the most overrated player. And there you are, the Chicago Bears with a championship defense. And Mitch, I'm sure Dancing with the Stars is happy to have Antonio back. If you thought you were going to get Zion, that's your bad.
You are now listening to Open Season. Your host, Billy
Allen. Welcome. You are tuning in to Open Season, and it's a Tuesday night. It's election night, but I think you picked the right place. 617-702-2542. We're opening up the phones, and we are live from Seasons 52, and we're talking about a whole lot tonight. I'm with Justin, Allain, and Frankie Bratica, and how short is Cam Newton's leash? How much blame are we putting on Bill as the Pats have their first 4-game losing streak since 2000? We're talking about the NFL trade deadline analysis. Not a whole lot happening there. Spoiler alert. AB's long-awaited return is coming up next week. And can the Steelers go 16-0 as Brady and Gronk pull out another one? We're talking about all that, and is Mike McCarthy's job on the line this early in Dallas? But first, guys, the Pats keep churning these ones out. Another loss, and is this just what it's like to be an NFL fan of another team? You know, Cam Newton in a clutch spot fumbles the ball. The Pats go for an onside kick because that's really the only way they could have scored points. They got Bill Belichick fumbling, looking a little bit different than we're used to Belichick looking, going in his bag of tricks. And guys, it's not looking good here. The Patriots lose 4 straight. Cam Newton fumbling in a big spot. Who are we blaming? Who are we attacking?
Bill. And if I could separate it, Bill the GM, because I think he's hurt the team a hell of a lot more than Bill the coach. But very few people have had their flag firmly planted in Mount Bill like I have. And the succession plan for quarterback didn't have one. He pettily traded his successor for a second-round pick because F you, I want to keep him. And this team has high school linebackers on it. Hasn't drafted well. And I understand if you are coaching a GM long enough in the NFL, you go through peaks and valleys with drafting. But he hasn't had a peak in about 7 years, which is concerning. And this team doesn't look good.
This team is garbage. I'm actually a little bit worried about the Jets game on Monday night, to be honest with you.
Stop it.
First time I said that in, I don't know, 20 years.
Adam Gase will ensure a victory there.
Hey, they kept the Bills game close. I mean, honestly, this game, I blame more the Bills than anything. This game should have been a blowout. The Patriots are terrible on both sides of the ball. Cam had a much better game. I mean, that's not saying much compared to the last game, but again, this should have been a blowout. The Bills kept them in it, and then, like Frank said, that onside kick. Bill, what are we doing here? Why?
You and Cam with having a good game, every time this guy throws for like 170 yards, I feel like everyone's ready to throw a field day. And it's like, I don't know, 15 to 24 or whatever he goes, doesn't throw a touchdown, doesn't throw a pick. I mean, they still can't move the ball that well, aside from a few runs from Cam. I mean, this offense just does not look good.
He did have 54 and a touchdown, though.
Yeah, I mean, that's all.
Did he throw an interception?
He didn't throw a pick. No, I mean, I guess that's better.
Who threw an interception, Josh Allen or Cam Newton?
Wait, he had the running equivalent of an interception. And he had it at the worst possible time.
Yeah, he picked a good spot to fumble. I mean, I just feel like standing up for Cam Newton is – I'm so tired of this. Every week we get into – people are almost like, I feel bad for Cam, or –
I do feel bad for Cam.
This was the Cam who was in the offseason. You've never seen this Cam before. Yeah, I've never seen this Cam. I'm scared. It was 86 nights since I was a free agent and all this. And it's like, where has all that gone?
If you put this Cam in Kansas City, he might be the best version of Cam we've ever seen. We don't know that. He's in a barren wasteland. Our team is not very good right now. I would like to take my 10-second salute on Damian Harris. He looks good. I told you he was good. I still think he's very, very good, and I also think it's a moot point with a team this bad. When our offensive line plays, as I've said, when they're healthy, they're good. Cam Newton's average at best. But that's not good enough for the rest of the supporting cast. This defense is bad. It's not fast. We've never been fast, but now we don't have the veterans and the playmakers that make that all worth it, that overcompensate for it. We no longer have the GOAT at quarterback. And I've been very pessimistic on Brady because he handled his exit kind of like a prima donna. But boy.
Oh, yeah, when they kicked him out, basically.
Kicked him out? What are you talking about, man?
Stop it.
Where are you reading these rumors?
I need you to trade Jimmy 6 months later. I need you to trade me. Fuck you, dude. I'm sorry. I very seldom curse. That's, I think, my first F-bomb of the show. But come on now. I mean, that guy was so anti-Brady at the end of his career. It's why I had no problem disengaging from him. I mean, he's always been a Fruit Loop and a weirdo, but he was our Fruit Loop, and he was a winner, and he was all these things. Now he's just kind of every other quarterback. You know who he's reminiscent of?
He's just
Favre and
every
Marino.
other quarterback. I mean, the guy still doesn't throw a turnover in age 43. If he was here, things would be a whole lot different.
How?
And all you had to
How?
Did you watch
all you
last
had to
year?
do was
How
sign
did-
this guy for 2 years, $25 million. You wouldn't go back in time and do that.
Billy, they offered him 2 years, $25 million.
Who showed you that? I mean, I don't feel like they gave him any 2-year commitment. That was the thing. They wanted to go year to year with him, and that's why.
Billy, he wanted out before the season even started
He
last
wanted
year.
out after the Eagles Super Bowl. He wanted out after the Eagles Super Bowl.
Why did he want out?
Because Bill benched Malcolm Butler for yelling at his son.
No, it's got more to do with the fact.
Allegedly.
No. This all began with Deflategate. The fact that Bill said, "Ask Tom about the balls,"
Well,
and he
hold
kind
on.
of deflected it on Tom, and that pissed Brady off. He's like, "Oh, like he's not
I
going to
don't
have
think
my
that
back."
pissed Tom off.
Oh, wait,
First of all,
100%
Hold
did.
on. Tom knew they were going to throw it in his lap because Tom knows what happened during Spygate. Bill couldn't be within a mile of this. When Deflategate happened, Bill had to throw it in somebody's lap. Brady had to know. He's not a casual fan.
What?
Like anybody who knows anything about Spygate knew that Bill was going to be nowhere near Deflategate. So Tom couldn't have been caught off guard by it.
So, who else are you supposed to blame for Deflategate other than Tom?
Jastrzemski?
Yeah, Yastrzemski. Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, those guys acted alone
McNamara?
totally.
Yeah, Yastrzemski, the guy working at Friendly's down the street now.
Those guys
Yeah.
are living up
That
in a
guy's
bunker.
in Cabo
Those guys
with
are
Matt
living
Walsh.
in a bunker in New Hampshire because of what and because of what Bill Belichick put. You're telling me?
Wait,
you wanna-
whoa,
Hold on.
whoa,
You want to
dude.
say that Bill Belichick gets all the credit for this team when they win, and you don't think that he knew every little detail? You don't think he knew about Spygate?
Of course he knew about
What do you mean,
Spygate.
Spygate was him.
Sorry. Deflategate.
Yeah,
There was nothing to report on with Deflategate. That's what the whole sham was.
Hold on.
It's a joke.
Yo, hold on. Yeah, there was. I know this isn't all the
Dude.
talk, and I don't want to get into this, but bro, when you're sitting next to a
Let's
locker
do it.
room
Deflategate talk.
when you're sitting next to a locker room for 2 hours, and then you leave that locker room, the bathroom is in the locker room, and you pass the bathroom, go in there for 30 seconds and come out, and you're a Patriots executive or a team manager? No, that's strategic. You went in there for a reason.
Has Deflategate done anything to Brady's career?
That's not the point.
The
Do
point is
I
he-
think Bill was messing with the balls to gain an unfair advantage on
No,
fumbles
he
and
was
things like
not.
that? Yes, he was.
No, he wasn't.
I think other quarterbacks do it too, but like with Spygate, other quarterbacks film opposing team sidelines. You know what they don't do? Send teams in with entire manuscripts of what to say when you're caught because we're cheating at a higher level.
Yep.
And that's what happened to Deflategate too. Aaron Rodgers likes his balls a full 1 ounce of PSI over the pressure limit, and that happens every week. But what were we doing? Sneakily going into the bathroom after we leave the locker room for 30 seconds timed once a game. We deserve that.
Well,
let's get our heads out of the sand.
In the rule book, there's no rule against that.
There's a
Bill knows the
God.
rules.
There's a rule
and he will go
against-
to it.
I can't believe we're doing Deflategate.
There's a
talk
rule
right
against
now.
siphoning, and Deflategate's nothing. It had no impact on winning or losing, but I don't think Spygate did a whole lot either. It doesn't mean we weren't effing doing it.
I think all these teams are doing stuff to a certain degree, as we have one ringing through here. And hi, you're live on Open Season. Who do we got?
Hey, what's going on? How we really doing, boys?
Hey,
Matt Penor giving you a call.
hey, Matty Panora reaching out to us on election night. How you doing, big guy?
Not bad, guys. I was just listening to you and talking about the Deflategate and stuff on election night. You guys trying to give us a heart attack over here? What else are we going to bring up? We're going to, talk about the Catholic Church or something? Talk about that Boston scandal too while we're at it?
We're Penn State. We have fun here.
That's right, guys. I just wanted to, once again, appreciate, the show. It gives me something to look forward to every Tuesday night. Really enjoy you guys. But
Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Your voice sound.
Maddie, hold it like a pizza, like they say on Felgren Mass.
You had a perfect phone. What happened?
What's that?
Oh, we lost you. We had lost you for a sec. You sound like you went underwater on us. What were you
Sorry
saying?
about that, guys.
Yeah, go ahead.
In a perfect trade deadline world, what would we have done? I mean, I was losing my mind. It's just such a typical, couple of moves that we made. I just really was hoping we would have made some bigger splashes. I was hoping, like, I wanted to see something fun, like, give up a 7th round pick to get that, that Sam Darnold, or, I don't know if, we could pull that off with a 7th rounder, but you know what I mean? Something, a little bit more flashy than the typical crap that we did.
Sam Darnold would have been at least a 2nd. You should be hoping for speed and youth, because your team is drastically missing those 2 things. You need speed, you need youth, and you can get those things for a 7th rounder. You're not getting Darnold for a 7th rounder.
What I wanted them to do was blow the whole thing up. I wanted Gilmore gone. I wanted to get at least a 1st or a 2nd for him. I wanted to trade every asset that we have and blow this entire thing up.
How many assets do we have?
Same here. I totally agree.
Joe Tooney's an asset.
He's franchise tagged. He has no long-term security. So whatever.
He's 26. You can at least get a 2nd round pick for him.
Sure.
Yeah, I was thinking a 2nd round pick for Tooney.
And then you trade 2 of those to get in the 1st round to get a better pick next year. I'm just saying, you got to rebuild this whole thing. This team is looking like the Jets, like right now. We're garbage.
Yeah, we really don't have a whole lot. Maddie, I would have liked to see them trade Stephon Gilmore, get a 2nd round pick in here, use that as some it seems like they're not going to get a 1st rounder for him, so, it seems like they wanted a 1st rounder and a guy and a player. I think they were just thinking a little bit too rich for him. I would have liked to see them, trade a 2nd rounder and put some chips towards next year. Maybe they cash in and get that quarterback of the future, because it feels like right now they're going to definitely need one. And maybe they trade up to get like the 3rd best quarterback next year or something like that. But
hey Matt, who do you think wins, the Patriots or Little Giants?
I don't know, man. I think the Cowboys and the Little Giants would definitely.
I think the Icebox could run all over us right now.
Are we being serious?
Dude, that run defense is absolutely terrifying, man. Definitely, more heart attack material. I do have to push back though. A 2nd round pick for Sam Darnold, like that's a tad much. What has he got? Like 1 year left on the contract. I think
what did Josh Rosen go for the first time he was traded?
I think maybe you could get you could do a 3rd rounder for Darnold.
I think Darnold's going for a 2nd rounder.
I think Darnold's going for a 2nd rounder.
Darnold's going for a 2nd rounder.
He's going for a 2nd rounder.
I prefaced that 7th was obviously exaggerating. I don't think a 2nd round though.
I like hyperbole too, but
left.
The 2nd round is accurate.
He's
going to go
Jimmy
for
G
that
went for
pick.
a 2nd rounder,
and it was undersold.
Yeah,
and he's probably produced the exact same as Sam Darnold.
No, Jimmy G at least had some wins.
I think 4th is more like it, especially if they're tanking on purpose.
He's not going for a 4th. 27-year-old players on their 3rd team go for a 4th. Sam Darnold is a rookie who's been in an awful franchise. Like, whatever team trades a 4th for him is golden.
I don't even think
that's
not
going to I like where Matt's head's at. At least, it's them doing something, though. It feels like the Patriots, they just make 2 really paltry moves here, bringing in Isaiah Ford and Isaiah Mack.
Isaiah Ford's good. You have nothing else to throw to. Isaiah Ford will be productive.
We're shopping at the dollar store right now.
It's a sad thing when you're saying he's the best receiver on this team.
Is Belichick going to become the GM of the Dolphins or something? Is that like his, transition to retirement is to become a GM, coach over Brian Flores or something? Is this his exit strategy or something? Hooking, taking garbage players off of his hands and just giving him even more picks. What the hell?
I think his exit plan is to shoehorn the greatest quarterback of all time out of town and hire his sons, and then have his sons become coordinators, and have those guys have a legitimate shot of becoming a head coach in this league, particularly for a team where Robert Kraft feels that he owes them one. Independent of how much of that actually happens, I think Bill's smack dab in the middle of his retirement strategy.
Yeah, and I think if he could add chasing Shula, I still think he wants to chase Shula.
I do too.
I think he probably visions himself having 5 years left, and I think, the reason why they didn't full out tank this year, the reason why they brought in a guy like Cam is because they're not trying to tank. They're trying to win games. It's not working, but it's been it's been a long time of bad draft picks and mismanaging assets, but it's all kind of caught up with them at this point, and that you're seeing. It's all under Belichick's control. So at some point, it's all got to come back to Belichick. Who drafts the players? Who coaches
away
the
with
players?
Murder for a while.
Can I ask a question for the caller and the panel?
Sure.
The last
What do we got?
last Pro Bowler Belichick has drafted. Caller first.
Oh gosh, is it Brandon Merriweather?
It
No, obviously Dante Hightower's around, but
it isn't go again, Justin.
I was going to say an offensive lineman. Is it Devin McCourty?
Nope, go again.
Shaq Mason?
No, the answer is Jamie Collins, 2013. The last player we drafted made a Pro Bowl, 2013. McCourty has made a Pro Bowl more recently than Collins, but he was drafted before Collins. And how ridiculous is that? You have one of the best talent evaluators of all time, and Belichick's been good at the draft historically, but he's had 2 or 3 droughts depending upon where your lines of demarcation are, and he's knee-deep in the middle.
I do think a lot of that has to do with the fact that it is somewhat of a system, though, and I think a lot of times a lot of these players, when you go to Pro Bowl time, Pat's guys don't get voted in. Obviously Gronk's going to get voted in every single year in his prime.
I'm sorry, Kyle Van Noy shouldn't be voted in.
Did Kyle Van Noy get voted in?
Nobody got
you
votes.
know who always got screwed? You know who always got screwed is friggin' poor Rodney Harrison. There was like a 3 or 4 year period where
Rodney Harrison
the GOAT.
deserves nothing. He decided to play that ball like he could just hit him hard enough to drop it. If he had attacked it in the air, we're undefeated. I don't want to talk about Rodney Harrison. One of my favorite players of all time made an all-time boneheaded decision. I'm a hard hitter, so I'm going to hit him so hard he drops it. Instead of that ball's in the air, let me go get it. What an arse.
Dude, David Tyree had peanut butter on his freaking hands. They tested it after the game.
Never had another NFL catch on Rodney bleeping Harrison. Rodney Harrison played that ball so wrong. He made a bad cognitive decision, and he had enough time to sit there and make the wrong one.
Richard Seymour should have sacked him.
Should we talk about Asante Samuel's missed interception while we're at it?
No, because I love Asante Samuel.
Asante
I'm a
Samuel's
corner and a wide receiver. We love wide receivers and corners. The more crazy and egotistical you are, the more selfish you are, the more Frank will endorse you. It's almost a linear progression. Asante Samuel is great, and he was good in Philly. He was great here.
He friggin' blew it, though. Like that last, the defining play of his Patriots career, man.
But the defining...
No. I was just going to say, Matt, you got us talking about all kinds of stuff, scarring stuff going back into, all the way back here. We appreciate you calling in and giving us a little, your thought on the draft and anything. Any parting words before we let you go?
No, thanks again, guys. I really do appreciate it, and keep it coming. Keep the comedy coming. Keep the knowledge coming. I don't get to watch as much sports as I like to, so you guys kind of fill me in, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Good.
All right, good, man. Well, we appreciate you calling.
Thanks, man. Have a good one, guys.
All right, you too. Wow, Frank, you're going to really lose it over Rodney Harrison over there. That's like Justin's idol.
That is my only Pat's jersey is Rodney Harrison.
Yeah, Rodney Harrison, how can you dislike Harrison? One bad play in his career. That guy played through injury. That guy was like the perfect Patriot. All those crappy years out in San Diego and comes here and is just like, the perfect Patriot.
Do you not like Wes Welker either?
I don't like Wes Welker.
It's a whole other bag of worms.
How?
They called me
he dropped an open pass.
They called me Little Rodney in high school. I love Rodney Harrison. Love him. Light-skinned brown guy who hits harder than friggin' lightning. Love Rodney Harrison. He made a bad choice, and he made that choice playing for my team. Most of his highlighted career came not playing for my franchise.
Is Rodney Harrison Irish too?
I can slap you for that, but we're on there. No, probably not. I don't know. Like mathematically speaking, probably not. But I have no.
Well, why don't we talk about the 2020 Patriots? I know we could go all day on that, but guys. So Cam Newton, what do you think about him moving forward? Do you think that he's going to have a short leash? Do you think that the Pats play him out the string? You heard Belichick pretty quickly after the game saying Cam Newton's our quarterback. Does he have a chance to even salvage his career here? Like, what are we talking about with Cam moving forward?
He's going to have to, right? Because if he doesn't, he's going to end up with a contract worse than Jameis Winston's. In a situation
Well, it's looking like he's on track for that.
Well, here's the thing. I think he's better than this. I've stated that every single show I've ever bet on. But at the end of the day, he has not enough around him. He just doesn't. And
He never had less talent on one of those Carolina teams that he led to the playoffs.
He had Steve Smith.
He had Steve Smith
He had
or
Greg
Greg
Olsen.
He had a Pro Bowl offensive talent at a skill
He had
position.
D'Angelo Williams. He had Jonathan Stewart.
He had a Pro Bowl
D'Angelo
talent.
Williams and Jonathan Stewart, they were old and gray.
He had a Pro Bowl talent on the offensive side of the ball every year he was good in Carolina. Period. But my point is he'll be better here. You'll see a lot more of game one. You guys laughed at me months ago. I said, you guys asked, what will this offense look like? A rich man's Jacoby Brissett. And we can win with that because we are him kicking it outside and him not fumbling it away from us being a winning football team.
But the margin of victory is that small now. It's like, they literally are taking onside kicks at the end of games because Belichick knows they don't have the offensive firepower to go down and score points. I mean,
Is that Cam's fault though that we don't have the offensive firepower? Do you think if you honestly,
dude, at some point you just have to be the quarterback. How many times has Aaron Rodgers isn't surrounded by top talent?
Yeah, he's. But Billy, do you think if who's our back? Jared Stidham, if he comes in, he's going to win the Bills game?
No, I don't think he's going to win the Bills game.
I bet you he throws 2 or 3 interceptions.
He throws an interception at like the rate of he's like thrown like 40 career passes and he's thrown like a ton of he's thrown one touchdown too.
I just think honestly,
I don't think Stidham's the answer either.
No, but I just think Cam is our best option right now, and we're going to go down. We're literally going to go down swinging with Cam Newton. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Also, you said we're scratching and clawing against the Bills. This is the rest of the league. Our margin of victory without having the best coach and best quarterback of all time is going to be smaller. We've had the greatest margin of error in sports for any dynasty in 20 years of modern sports, but 100 years of real sports.
So, Justin, you're not upset at all that the Pats just completely punted and went to the bargain bin on the biggest position in sports? They thought that they could just wait to the last minute and get whoever fell to them, and it ends up being Cam Newton rather than going out there and getting another quarterback.
Who'd you want? Name me a quarterback you wanted.
I would rather have Jameis Winston than Cam Newton.
I would argue he didn't care who fell to him. He was willing to go into the season.
He was willing
with
to
Hoyer
take whoever.
Stidham.
That's how confident he is, and how like braggadocious. I mean, Belichick was willing to take whoever fell to him, and I just feel like not having a plan at the most important position in sports is just like it's terrible. I mean,
but it's consistent and in line. He did not have a plan. He's petty. He had a plan. That plan was Garoppolo, and you made me trade it, so F you. I will win with Wonder Bread.
But even since Garoppolo, he's had years to be able to prepare this roster, get a quarterback in there.
But I already got the guy. But Robert, I already drafted the guy.
Do you think Brady would have been happy if we brought someone in last year to be his successor? Because you know how Brady had his little hissy fit once Garoppolo was getting more attention. Brady was. Then all of a sudden, Brady elevated his game to become Brady again.
Got that parking spot back.
Yeah, there was a good amount of time Brady was this diva, like getting pissed off.
You would have had Brady bought in if you gave him a 2-year contract. We all know that.
No, you would not have. Who was going to stay on this team? This team is garbage. Or you can go to Tampa Bay and have everything.
Brady made this team go 12-4 last year. So, I mean, it's not too bad.
We lost every game where we gave up more than 17 points. I don't know how much Tom Brady won 12 games. Tom Brady won maybe 5
We were
games.
Also 8-0 to be in the season, or 6-0, and we played the shittiest teams
the
in
most
the entire league.
Unhappy 8-0 quarterback. Thanks, Troy Aikman. Tom Brady's a dick.
And those games weren't fun to watch either.
Yeah, because you wouldn't give the guy a contract after he won a Super Bowl. I think I'd be a little upset, too.
Really, he wanted out. I don't know how many more times.
He won a Super Bowl, not score, or what he scored, 1 touchdown?
Let's let a caller make some sense. Who do we got here?
Hey, this is Uncle Cracker.
Uncle Cracker, let's give it to us straight. What's on your mind?
I want to talk about fantasy football.
Yeah.
And commissioners being gay. And commissioners taking championships away from people. I am in a fantasy football league.
All right, Uncle Cracker, killing it. Love it. Good stuff.
I love that Uncle Cracker song.
Let's keep those phone calls coming. 617-702-2542. We might as well advertise when we're getting calls like that. Well, you got to like that. Guys, I was a little bit upset that they didn't trade Gilmore. That it feels like they had a little bit too high of a price tag on his head. What do you think about that with Justin, you were saying you kind of want to trade pieces off here. How disappointed are you that Steph Gilmore's still on this team?
I'm disappointed if we find out we could have got a first-round pick for him. If we were being offered a third-round pick, then I'm not that upset with it because I do think in the offseason you can get better value than that. But I thought he was gone, to be honest with you. His house went on the market and it was like, this house needs to be sold by next Tuesday. I think it was last week they said that. I just think you have to tear this whole thing down. Like, we need a full rebuild. Like this, I'm not content being an average football team. I'd rather suck and then become good again. It's like being in the NBA and being, the team that finishes 500 every year. Like, you don't gain anything from that. Tear it down, build it up, and Bill can build it up quickly. However, I do want to see someone else involved with the draft picks next year because Bill has sucked at drafting the past 5 years.
Do you think Bill has the appetite for a full-scale rebuild at this point in his career?
He can make it happen. If there's any coach that can, he can.
No. But if he does do it, he'll succeed at it. He's turned this roster over 3 times, and he's had 2 droughts. This is maybe his 3rd. This is why I'm not that worried about it. Because anybody who gets that much leeway in time, if you're Tom Landry and you're a coach for 26 years, 8 of them you're going to suck at drafting even though you have 15 rounds. It's going to happen in pro sports. Like, I'm okay with it. He's going to go through droughts. At some point, he's going to come out of it, or we'll be saying, oh, remember in 2020, that game really passed him by because he couldn't draft at the end of his time in New England. But I don't think that's him yet. I really don't, and that's why I have the utmost confidence that eventually he'll get back on track. I think his bigger problem in terms of not being able to see talent is that he doesn't draft talent. He drafts, fit. He drafts scheme versus talent. He thinks if you trade up for Julio Jones, you're silly because you can get Jonathan Baldwin in the 5th round for, comparable production for much less or much greater value. And that's just not true. And in today's NFL where people are specialized, where that tough football playing gunner isn't on your team anymore because you have 4 third-down pass rush specialists and 2 4-3 guys who can't do anything else but run 9 routes because it's a different league.
Yeah. And I'll say one thing that I'm getting sick of tired of hearing is Brady versus Tom. This is
Brady
not,
versus Tom?
Oh, and Brady. Sorry, Brady versus Bill. Like,
It's my favorite narrative.
Of course, Brady this year on the Buccaneers is going to go farther than the Patriots do this year. I think
there were so many people saying that he wasn't going to.
I think this is a comparison of a 2 to 3 year window. If Belichick can win a Super Bowl in the next 2 to 3 years and Brady doesn't get one, or Brady only gets one, they only have one each, there's no comparison. Because if Brady's here right now, we are at best a 3-3 team. At best. We're not going anywhere. We're not doing anything. Like, it makes no difference to anybody, this comparison for this 1 year.
Dude, a 3-3 team, come on. You can't even admit that they'd at least have 4 wins.
The Seahawks still would have beat us.
Exactly. The Chiefs
Chiefs
would have beat
still
us.
would've beat us.
They wouldn't have gotten
The
the Chiefs
49ers
win.
would have crushed us. The Bills would have beat us. I'm sorry. Like,
No. Slow your
You think
goddamn
they-
roll.
you think
We
they
would have
would've-
beaten the Bills.
They would have showed up so poorly for the 49ers. I mean, I just feel like that they completely gave up that week. And Tom Brady, you're looking at them, they don't give up. Like, I mean, Tom Brady, still, last night, he's coming down from a 10-point deficit.
He looked terrible. Like, for 3/4 of the game, how can you sit in front of the camera, look at the camera, and say that Tom Brady looked good against the New York Giants, who had 1 win last
When
night?
it counted, did he look good?
Oh, so you just ignored the other
Yeah,
3
when it
quarters.
counted, so Tim Tebow could throw a can of paint now.
He won the game.
So you're going to say
Pats
Cam Newton.
The Pats
because-
lost it.
So Cam Newton fumbled the ball. You're going to emphasize that one thing he did, but not talk about anything else he did.
What else did he do? He was like 15 of 24. He threw 170 yards. He didn't throw
Here's
any
where-
touchdowns.
here's
He
where
didn't throw a pick. Congratulations, Cam. You didn't throw a pick this week. Let's have a party. Woo!
Here's where you're not giving Cam enough credit. When you run the offense through Brady, it works. Unless Brady's not invested, i.e. last year, i.e. 2007.
Okay, so if it
Hold
doesn't
on.
work to the tune
Hold
of
on, wait a
12-4,
minute.
I'll take that.
Hold on. Wait a minute. The entire offense runs through Cam, who's past his prime, surrounded by nothing, and he's having impact on the game. His stats will never look good. He's having greater impact game to game for us than Tom did last year. I'm sorry. That's the case. And he couldn't do it, and just for the record, Tom Brady couldn't do that for the Buccaneers. But because we are so devoid of talent, and because Tom is such it sounds bad, but one-dimensional, he's worse for this team than Cam is with this roster. He is.
So Tom Brady would be worse than 2-5?
Tom Brady would probably be around the same. I think you said
3-3.
3-3. He'd be right around there. Still would have lost to the Chiefs. Still would have lost to Seattle.
Let's face
Would
it.
have beaten the Bills.
The Bills
everybody was
kept
ready
us
to-
in that game. They should have crushed us.
The Bills did everything they could for us to win
Exactly.
the game. They tried to give it
that
away.
game should have been a blowout. Even if Brady was there, they kept us in that game the entire time.
Okay, Denver did everything to keep us in the game, and we lost. I mean, I just how many games are we going to make this excuse for?
Is Tom Brady playing linebacker? Is Tom Brady playing defensive
Also,
line?
is Tom Brady playing that
Tom
Tom
Brady doesn't need as good of an offensive line because he gets the ball out.
Defensive line.
So he can get the ball out so quick, so he makes a whole difference.
Billy, who is this defense stopping?
More than that, wasn't Tom Brady mad at
This
his
defense
offensive
isn't
line
giving up
against
that
Chicago?
many. This defense isn't giving. The defense is not the problem. They can't string
Billy,
together points.
Billy, are you
Defense
watching the
is the
game?
problem.
Are
I'm
you
watching the game.
No,
yes.
you're not. You're watching the highlights.
No, I'm watching the game.
So
I
you're
see
watching.
that
You're watching. Who was the running back? Zach Moss this week. Just tear us up. Who was
Do you
it the
know
week
where
before?
we're ranked first and second down defense? Yards-wise.
probably terribly.
31st.
Yes,
We're
they
good on third down.
They have a porous. Yes, okay, but still, they're able to stop at least, and it's the problem on the offense.
Who are they stopping?
The problem, dude, they gave up 24 points. They still need to be able to score points. 24 is the most they've been
How
able
many
to
did they
score.
give up the week before?
They
36.
yeah, but when you score 3, I mean, it doesn't even count.
Who was the running back that got the
Jeff
100?
Wilson?
Who's Jeff Wilson?
He's like a third string
We went through
running
this
back.
last
or
week.
whatever.
I'm just
better
saying.
than you're giving him credit
I'm
for.
just saying. Like you're ignoring the biggest factor in this team. It's the defense, the defensive line, the linebackers. We lost 3 linebackers: Van Noy, Collins, and Hightower, all gone.
Yeah, this is the team that never wanted to make excuses, though. Right?
Bill's making plenty of
Bill
them this
Belichick
year.
Yeah,
has
Bill's
never
making-
made excuses, except for this year.
Now
They're mismanaging the cap and all kinds of other things.
I think it has more to do with Bill on this team than Brady being here, because I don't think Brady being here does much. I think Bill mismanaging this roster and the entire payroll is where we're at right now. If Tom Brady's here right now, we're at 3-3.
Bill's mastered payroll. He screwed up the salary cap, but he has a great paycheck. So his payroll is fine.
You wouldn't go back in time and change it so that they could sign Tom Brady for 2 years?
He didn't
But
want to be here.
I think you're missing that.
Here's
too.
the thing. If you go back in time and give Tom a contract, do you know what you're doing?
He's going to buy in again. and
You're kicking
galvanize
Bill
the
out.
team.
You do not get. You can go back in time and give Tom money. You can't go back in time and think that you're moving forward with both. You weren't gonna. Once Garoppolo was gone, Robert can never again step in front of Bill in a personnel situation, or Bill's gone.
The only way Brady
Well, at
stays
this point,
is
that doesn't look like the worst decision.
the only way Brady stays is if AB actually kept his head together and played the whole season and was here for another year. Like he's not here. Like the talent on this team is atrocious.
Both of them aren't coming back after the Eagles Super Bowl. You're dealing with a very, very small shelf life there.
Well, I don't know. I disagree. I think I think Brady is going to galvanize this team. Like guys actually want to play for him.
Like he did last year when he was 8-0 and miserable, and he locked out all of his rookie
I'll take
receivers.
I'll take a 12-4 season. Sure. I mean, we're far away from one right now.
And I'm happy with that. I want us to
Is
suck.
Belichick even going to capitalize on it? No, he's probably not. He's probably going to try to win some of these games. He's not going to do a full scale rebuild. They're not going to go 2-14.
Bill's not
They're going to
tanking.
win some games.
I wish we would, but Bill's not tanking.
Whatever.
No chance.
Well, the NFL trade deadline came and went. Not a whole lot there. We already told you that the Patriots bring in Isaiah Ford and Isaiah Mack. You know, Isaiah Ford is a 7th rounder who's playing for the Dolphins. Isaiah Mack, I don't think he was currently a defensive tackle. He's like 6'1", 299. But you know, just not doing a whole lot to move the needle here if you're a Pats fan or really you know, across the league. Justin had talked a little bit about Brady and the Giants last night. Justin, you weren't too impressed with Tom Brady, I guess? You're not impressed with Brady?
I mean,
You won't take him?
What I was watching last night was what I watched last year. Like he struggled a lot. It's always been the thing against Brady. If you get pressure on him, that's the only way to get on Tom Brady is to put pressure on him. And the Giants did a good job. Thankfully, they have Daniel Jones on the other side throwing picks left and right that screwed them over.
What is going on with Daniel Jones?
He sucks.
Like, I've never...
No one knows if he's good or bad.
It's Shakespearean, his turnovers. I mean, it's poetic. I mean, it's just like 15-play, 8-minute drive, pick on the 1-yard line. Like, just back-breaking, spine-numbing picks.
He's just not a. He is an NFL average quarterback that will never be anything. And you drafted him with the 7th pick
He's
overall.
modern-day Kerry Collins.
How think Kerry Collins is better than him? I
Yeah.
honestly think Daniel Jones is garbage.
I don't think Daniel Jones is good.
I'd rather
either.
have Gardner Minshew than Daniel Jones.
That's crazy. That's where you lose me.
Dude, Daniel Jones is not good. I'm sorry. Like, who even had heard of Daniel Jones
Gardner
before the
Minshew is
draft?
Chad Pennington. Daniel Jones is better than both Chad Pennington
Chad
and
Pennington
Gardner Minshew.
killed the Pats year after year after year.
Pennington was not too bad until he
He was a
ended up
great
hurting his
game
elbow.
manager.
Are we
He
serious?
used to throw those moon balls back to Moss back at Marshall. They were a great pair in college.
He's replacement level quarterback number 1.
Dude,
Chad Pennington is Chad Henne. They're the
no,
same
he's
bad
not. No,
quarterback.
No, he's not.
No, he doesn't throw that many turnovers like that. Chad Henne's going to throw a ton of turnovers. Chad Pennington at least managed the game.
They're the same quarterback. They're
No.
both bad. They're
Chad
both
Henne.
bad.
No, Chad Henne is a turnover machine. Pennington wasn't.
Same bad quarterback.
I mean, Pennington would, at the end of the game, would have 180 yards passing, maybe 2 touchdowns, but
Yeah,
he
so-
wouldn't turn it over.
So
They
double
both-
double what Cam would have. That basically then.
Granted, he played on teams with great running backs, so he just handed the ball off a lot, but he didn't throw it away. Daniel Jones just cannot stop throwing the ball away. I mean, these interceptions are just putrid. They're always at the worst possible time.
They are.
And he has his offensive receivers, they're not bad. Golden Tate, Sterling Shepard, Evan
Slayton.
Ingram. Obviously, the running back Barkley's out, but that offense is not bad. It's better than what we have.
They're going on 7 years of having a bad offensive line. Like at this point,
I
their
thought
bad
Nate
offensive
Soldier was
line
supposed to
has
solve
bad
things.
kids on the offensive line. You see
Nate
what I'm
Soldier,
saying?
that was a great contract.
Nate Soldier's trash.
Joe Judge, isn't he going to be the ultimate coach?
Well, he can't be when you bring in freaking the ex-Cowboys coach to coach your offense.
Jason Garrett.
Oh, my God. Like,
Whoa. People said the exact same thing you just did about Jason Garrett, about Wade Phillips after he left Dallas. Literally the exact same
Wade-
circumstance.
well, Wade
Couldn't
Phillips is a
win with all
defensive
that.
coach.
Yeah, Wade Phillips is actually
Sure.
not bad.
My point
Wade
was
Phillips
they
actually
both
coached
had,
in Buffalo and was good.
Sure. They all had a wonderfully talented team in Dallas, wildly underperformed, were looked at as
Dude.
disappointing head coaches, can be good coordinators.
Are you really comparing what Dallas has right now to what Wade Phillips had? The talent in Dallas right now is when Dak's healthy, superior to what the Cowboys were before.
They had the exact same amount of Pro Bowlers on offense and defense. You're looking at it as T.O. and Romo, but what I'm telling you, when you had Martin and Smith and Dez and Murray and Frederick
You didn't have all those guys then either.
Yeah.
you did in the second what? Garrett had those guys. Wade didn't have those
Yeah,
guys.
but
Garrett did. Wade
Des
had
Bryant was already gone at that point.
in the prime of Des Bryant's career. Who was his head coach?
I
Garrett.
understand that. You're talking about all the offensive linemen. I'm saying not all those guys were there yet.
I said total amount of Pro Bowlers. The amount of overall talent on that team is comparable. Both wildly underprepared and both can be good coordinators. They were trash head coaches. That was my point.
Okay. That's fair.
All right.
At
Nobody,
the end of
nobody
the day-
cares about
At the
that.
end of the day, the Cowboys suck again.
I love when the Cowboys are bad. It's just good for my heart. It's bad for the league. It's good for my heart.
Oh, it's great for the league. No one likes the Cowboys.
Not true.
Well, you know what's great for the league is
Texas does.
AB coming back next week, and the rumors from Jay Glazer say that Antonio Brown has been actually staying with Tom Brady, staying in top tier shape. Apparently, the Buccaneers were surprised at the shape that he came into camp in, and man, I can't wait to see it next week. I feel like they're going to be. When you can't be able to double team any of those wide receivers or any of those options, I mean, that is going to allow Brady to just pick apart teams.
I'm running out of room here on the super teams don't work in the NFL take. I mean, I've been holding steady to it, but the Bucs look kind of really effing good, and they're about to get Antonio Brown. And I already said last week, and Antonio Brown is going to lead to more wins than Godwin or Evans. I just think he might be an overall net negative off the field more than he is a positive on the field. But
Unless he infects that locker room with COVID, he's going to be a positive.
I'm running out of room on this tape.
I
though.
cannot wait for the Antonio Brown screwing this entire thing up. And I'm not talking like it coming losses. Just Chris Godwin's out right now. He's going to come back. He's going to want balls. Mike Evans is going to want balls. Rob Gronkowski's going to want balls. But they all are bought in on doing this. Antonio Brown comes in. He has one or two big games, and the balls don't start going to him anymore. oh, Mr. AB is going to be on his phone tweeting at his girls,
emotion.
being on Facebook Live, yelling at people, and it's just going to blow up. And Bruce Arians isn't going to put up any of that crap. He'll be out the window in 2 seconds. He is a cancer everywhere he goes, and he is going to be a cancer there. And I cannot wait for it to explode.
Bruce Arians doesn't have a choice. I mean, he even told you in the offseason that he wasn't going to get Antonio Brown. And what happens? They're getting Antonio Brown.
Brady wants him. That's fine. Just
so,
wait.
You think that he's going to have the cojones to actually send him out of town?
Wait till AB starts doing press conferences again. Wait till AB starts getting commercials again. Wait till the love starts coming in for AB. Mr. I'm the greatest thing since sliced bread. It's going to blow up. I cannot wait for it to blow up. I hate Antonio Brown.
So how is it going to blow up? What are they going to do? What are they not going to win games?
I guarantee you that they will be in the Super Bowl this year, and he will not be on the roster. He will make it 4 or 5 games, and he'll get cut.
If he couldn't put the phone down for $10 million guaranteed, I have a hard time believing he could put the phone down.
Exactly,
for
it's
$1
not going to
million
work. I'm
guaranteed.
sorry. The guy's got issues. He's got too many concussions. Like the guy is out there.
Yeah, Fontese Burfict did a number on him.
Once you got a blonde mustache, I'm sorry, bro. You're done for me. Like the guy is whacked, and he thinks he can do nothing wrong. Like the amount of lawsuits are out against him with women. Like
Here's the thing, though. The biggest surprise in that whole statement, nobody should have been surprised at the shape that Antonio Brown came in.
exactly, that's ridiculous.
If,
All he
if, a
does is
te-
work
if an
out.
NFL team signed T.O., he'd be in better shape than half of their roster. Could he play is another issue. Antonio Brown can play. Antonio Brown is going to be their best receiver starting now.
No one ever questions Antonio Brown's work ethic. He's one of the hardest workers in the NFL.
Antonio Brown is going to be the best receiver on the Buccaneers.
Hands down. Nah, Mike Evans.
Does
One
he
is fully
demand
healthy.
so much of the ball?
Mike Evans is so hurt.
Yeah.
Sure, but and here's where this is going to sound bad early, so stay with me. But I watched Welker and Moss ruin Brady for a couple of years. It's not like they made him terrible. It's that they were always open, and they were always winning matchups. So when they left, Tom had trouble adjusting to mediocre receivers. It took him a couple of years. And I feel like that might be where we're heading, where Antonio Brown might need so much of the ball, he might get it. And he might prove productive. And then the other two receivers start talking. And now your
what I'm
defensive
saying.
players start
Yep,
talking.
that's what I'm
and now everybody on the and I can see where it spirals out of control real quickly. I just think on the field it's like it's football porn. Like it's gonna work. On the field it's gonna work.
That team is already bought in. I mean, you have guys like Mike Evans, who's not getting a lot of stats this year. He hasn't said anything. You have Gronkowski saying that he came in to block. I mean, I feel like you have pretty good unity behind that team.
It's been how long? A week?
Well, also nobody's getting catches. So nobody can be upset or jealous of somebody because nobody's getting their numbers. If he comes in and gets 9 catches for $150 and then gets that again, do we start to see a mutiny?
What's going to happen is after that big 1 or 2 games, then he has an off game and he's not getting receptions, and you start saying, like, why am I not getting the ball? Why am I not getting the ball? And Brady's going to focus in on him because that's what we did when he was here for that one game. It was all AB.
That's
AB.
what he did with Welker and Moss.
Exactly. And all the other receivers are going to be like Chris Godwin. You know, I had 100 catches last year. Where's my catches? I mean, Gronkowski doesn't really care at this point, I don't think. He just wants to play. But Mike Evans can be like, where are my catches? I need to get paid.
Circle of trust, Fokker.
Yep.
Antonio Brown is in it. So if he's unhappy, Brady will force it to him. And that might be a detriment to that team's overall success. And the buy-in you're talking about, because I agree with you. I think they're totally bought in. But if there's something that's going to get you out of a buy-in, it's watching some entitled prick take your time, take your touches, take your catches, and not even be bought in like you were.
I just feel like everybody knows that this is Tom Brady's team, and like you've kind of got
It was
to
Tom
operate.
Brady's team last year, too.
But you've got to operate as if, and Tom Brady, if he could have had his way, would have had Antonio Brown here.
He was here last year.
Yeah, I know. He would have had him here like the whole year if he
was
could've.
he was living with Giselle and Brady like he is now. Nothing's changed. Because he talked to Tony Robbins, all of a sudden AB's like freaking he believes in God now and he's like holy man. Like no, he's Antonio Brown. He's a scumbag and he's gonna ruin this entire thing. Not ruin the season, but like he's going to get kicked off that team very quickly.
Well, they're going to put up a lot of stats in the meantime.
Who lasts longer into the season? Cam Newton on the Patriots or Antonio Brown on the Buccaneers?
AB.
Probably Cam because
Last longer?
Yeah.
They're
AB.
probably going to keep Cam because
I honestly feel like if Cam puts up another stinker that I don't know. I mean, no one tells Bill
they
what to do.
clearly have no trust in Stidham because they haven't put him near a game.
Yeah.
I mean, they have no trust in Stidham. You can say that.
At all.
So I don't know. I'm taking Cam as the one going to be the one who's probably around longer. Or Cam will be here throughout the whole year for sure, I feel, and AB is a coin flip, so you don't know.
That's the thing. Like, I feel like if you're the Cowboys, like if you wanted Cam, you could at least trade him for like a 4th-round pick.
The Cowboys?
They have nothing.
Are they that desperate to trade away more assets for a quarterback?
Have you seen what that team is right now?
I have, but is Cam going to fix it? Like your question over
that offense, I mean, he could figure that out.
You can't trade Aldon Smith in a conditional 7th for Brian Hoyer. No. But to take your point, But to take your point, if Cam Newton's a little better than replacement level, and Brian Hoyer is replacement level, and you're the Cowboys and you have a fully loaded offense, why not throw Hoyer in there? Cam Newton might throw picks and fumble the ball.
I mean,
you assume Hoyer wouldn't do either.
We saw Dalton for a game and a half, and he didn't look any better than Cam. And he has elite talent in his roster.
Except for the offensive line. You guys, I say this every week. When your big guys don't win their battle, nobody else gets to win their battle.
You can figure it out, though.
No, you.
On that
name
offense,
me the team.
On that offense, you need to figure it out.
Nope, not going to let you get away with that. Name me the team. Name me the championship NFL team that won without having a winning battle in the trenches. You can't name me a Super Bowl winner with a bad offensive line. Can't do it. If we won in 11, it would have been us. We didn't.
We at least got there.
If we won in 07, it would have been us. We didn't.
I'm not saying you're going to the Super Bowl. I'm just saying they can at least they'd make the playoffs.
My
at least.
point
Anyone
is
can
the
make
Cowboys
playoffs.
with a representative offensive line, Dalton would have been a good enough quarterback. They're on 5 backups right now. That's tough. When you don't win moving the line of scrimmage, you're going to lose. I don't care what you have on the outside.
I'm just saying it's Jerry Jones.
Yeah, Ezekiel Elliott can't get anywhere.
Jerry Jones will take anything.
He don't suck this year. His offensive line is trash.
Yeah, but he still sucks.
That ain't true.
Good running backs still make
Dude, that's
games.
not true at all.
That isn't true.
Yes, it is.
No, it
it's
isn't.
not.
The top backs.
Okay, hold on. Same question. Remove the championship question. Name me the elite running back season that happened behind a bad offensive line.
Dude, there's plenty. I mean, everyone of Barry
There's
Sanders.
3.
Did he win a Super Bowl?
Hold on. No. And there's one more. There's Eric Dickerson. Name me another one, because both of those were pre-1995.
Dude, I mean, there's plenty of running backs that have been on bad teams. Or
Bad
whatever,
teams, yes. Bad offensive lines, no.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. I'm just tired of hearing you talk. Can the Steelers go 16-0 this year?
No.
Yes. Yeah. They've already beaten the Ravens. They've played a decent amount of their hard schedule. They've already played the Titans. Do I think they win the Super Bowl at 19-0 is a different question. Can they go through the rest of the regular season undefeated? Yes. Yes. They're the most complete team in the NFL. They have the most elite talent on both sides of the ball in the NFL. The answer is yes.
Actually, I take that back. Their schedule is an absolute joke.
Because the early part of it was hard. And
the early part of it was easy, too.
Tennessee and Baltimore.
Oh, okay. I don't see any Chiefs on here. I don't see any Buccaneers. I don't see any Saints. I see
They finished third in their division
Okay,
last year,
I
right?
see Cowboys, Bengals.
Let him talk, boy.
Cowboys, Bengals, Jaguars. They play the Ravens again. That could be Redskins, Bills, maybe Bengals again, Colts, Browns. I see them going 14-2.
Yeah, I mean, they're for sure going to have a great year this year. I don't see them going 16-0 because hardly anyone does. But I mean, I think they're definitely the most complete team on both sides of the ball. And I think they're probably going to go 14-2, 15-1, something along those lines. I mean, they keep finding ways to win games too. I mean, they pull out some of these close games. I mean, you saw the Ravens kind of trying to battle back in that game. Obviously, Lamar Jackson cannot throw the ball, so he just kept putting them back into, putting them into harm's way. But, the Steelers keep finding ways to win games, eking out some of these close ones. Tennessee last week, the Ravens this week. So they're battle-tested too.
Yeah, I mean, I see them in the AFC Championship game against the Chiefs. I'm obviously going to go with Mahomes just because Mahomes does crazy things, but I don't know. I'm going to have to see more from the Chiefs too. I feel like they haven't had the toughest schedule, and they've, this week was a blowout, but the Chargers game was close. The Patriots game was close. It shouldn't have been. Like, they haven't been that as good as they were last year.
They kind of feel like the type of team that can flip a switch, though, don't they?
Yeah, of course.
I mean, when it gets to the playoff time, you saw them last year. They were down by double digits in every playoff game that they had.
I just think the AFC overall this year is worse than it was last year. I think the teams that are 5-2, like the Browns, what are they, 4-3, 5-2? That team's garbage. I think the Bills are pretty garbage. The
Baker Mayfield
Ravens
came
are
back down to
worse. The
earth.
Chiefs are worse. Like, I mean, the Titans are good, but they've lost 2 in a row now. The AFC is just not that good.
If the Steelers play the Chiefs in the AFC title game, I would choose the Steelers. I think they're going to get upset before then. I have the Chiefs making it back to the Super Bowl.
I think the Titans could upset them.
I think even though the Steelers already won, and I said it before the game and looked stupid, I think that the Titans are a better team, and I think they have more balls. I think they're close in terms of coaching and talent, and when you're close in professional sports, moxie, balls, all those intangibles, they come into play. I think the Titans have more. I think the Steelers have a wonderful organization with a tradition of winning, but in the last 20 years or so, basically under Tomlin, they've gagged a lot of them away. And he's won a Super Bowl and gotten to another, so he's not like a fluke coach. But he has a history of dropping a couple he probably should have won.
They haven't had this level of a defense, though, since the Troy Polamalu days. Like the earlier, the years when Ben won his first, like that defense was legit. This defense is better than that. That's what separates them. And they have, the offense is what it is. Ben doesn't need to win you games. Like, he is good, but he's not, going to light the world on fire. They have a good running back. He's not going to light the world on fire, but he always gets at least 100 yards every game. But the defense, they just put pressure on quarterbacks. And if the Steelers play the Buccaneers, I do think the Steelers will win that game because they'd be in Brady's face the entire game.
You don't think Brady will be able to get the ball out fast enough?
He couldn't get it out fast enough last night against the Giants.
He couldn't get it out fast enough against Chicago.
Yeah, exactly. And those aren't better defenses than the Pittsburgh Steelers. TJ Watt will be in his face all game
Their
long.
pressure's relentless, and it's not just the sacks either. It's stopping running backs behind the line of
However,
scrimmage.
if Antonio Brown actually makes it that far, that obviously helps because he gets open very quickly off the line.
All right, we got one ringing through. I think we have Mr. White. Is this Whitey?
Oh, how'd you know it was me?
I feel like you've been hitting us up at the end of the show. Like, this is your time.
Steelers talk time.
Yeah, that's because you guys waste 40 minutes talking about should Cam still be starting on the Patriots.
Well, if you talk to Justin, I mean, apparently Cam's done nothing wrong. So I don't know what's going on.
I mean, we all know Cam is not the problem. I mean, come on. I mean,
Exactly.
he can
Thank
actually,
you.
He can rush.
Go ahead.
He's not the greatest thrower, but look at who he's throwing to. At least he can get you yards like running, like rushing. You know what I mean? Like, he's got nothing to work with. Same thing I'm seeing with Sam Darnold on the Jets. Like, just quarterbacks, you have to be like a Mahomes or Rodgers to carry a crappy team. And these are like once-in-a-generation talent that can do it.
You're just lighting Billy up right there. He's going to be like, oh, Brady, if Brady was here, we'd be like 6-0.
We would at least have 4 wins. I'm
would
convinced
not.
of it.
Well, I think you guys could easily have had 4 wins if just two plays happened differently. If Cam didn't get stuffed by the Seahawks on that last play, and if you didn't fumble, I mean, that was a fluky fumble. Come on.
He carried it like a loaf of bread.
Yeah, seriously, that was not that was a bad fumble.
He also should have bounced it outside against Seattle, but I don't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't think Cam's the issue here, but I did want to call because you guys started talking about the Steelers. So I had to. This is the first week since. This is why I'm so pissed at the NFL right now. The NFL had to subject the entire country to that Eagles game the other night. And they could have flexed the game of the year onto primetime. The country deserved to watch that game in full. Like, that was an epic game. I watched it with my cousins who are Steelers fans. We watched the whole game, every snap. We flipped the red zone every time there's a commercial. So this is the first time since week 1 when they played the Giants where I got to watch the entire Steelers game from beginning to end. And I got to tell you, that game was ridiculous. And like the fact that the Steelers won, it's just a different feeling.
Whitey, it was definitely Steelers Ravens. It wasn't a pretty game. It wasn't necessarily a primetime game. What was it, 5 total turnovers in that game? I mean, Lamar had 4.
Yeah, but that's the Steelers defense for you, buddy. I mean, TJ Watt hit Lamar Jackson 5 different times. Lamar Jackson, every time he dropped back, he got pressured. Literally every time. That's why so he threw a pick 6 to start the game because he got pressured.
Yep.
So then they flipped to a whole just just run the ball for the remainder of the first half, third quarter. They completely dominated the run. This is the first time the Steelers got dominated up front. And it still wasn't enough. The Ravens ran for 265 yards on the Steelers. It's insane. But the fact that Lamar Jackson, the few times he dropped back, he fumbled, he scrambled around because he's getting pressured, and he fumbles, and then he throws 2 picks. So it's like that's just the Steelers' defense that they can do that. They can make Lamar Jackson looks like he forgot to throw when he's. It's nothing wrong with his mechanics. He just had no time.
I mean, the Ravens' offense is like so vanilla. Like it's either Lamar Jackson run or it's trying to get Mark Andrews open. Like they didn't even throw it to Hollywood Brown the entire game. And a lot of their rush yards came in garbage time when they were trying to come back. Like J.K. Dobbins had a couple nice runs at the end. Lamar had a couple decent runs. But teams are figuring out how to play against Lamar Jackson. And the talent around him, if they're not going to throw it to Hollywood Brown, like is Willie Snead actually going to carry a team? Steelers, just the defense was relentless. I mean, I don't think the Steelers' offense looked great in that game because I do think the Ravens' defense has taken a huge step back. But they got the win, and they're looking like the best, most talented team overall in NFL right now.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. Big Ben looked really bad the first half, but the second half he just made plays that Hall of Fame veteran quarterbacks make. He just made a couple big-time throws, a couple big-time touchdown throws, and he didn't turn the ball over. So he played – if Big Ben just plays near the level of what he's accustomed to, I mean, he's definitely – he struggled at times this year, struggled at times with the long ball. It seems a bit flat. But I think, he just does what Hall of Fame quarterbacks do, just make big-time throws in big-time situations. And with Claypool, I mean, that last touchdown with Claypool was a beauty. So it's just with Claypool, it's just a whole other threat. You can't really double team him because then you got Deontay Johnson.
Yep, and Smith-Schuster. I mean, you have the perfect weaponry for Ben Roethlisberger.
This is what I was saying about the Steelers a couple weeks ago. Like they can win just with the defense carrying them alone, and if Big Ben doesn't screw up, and I'm not saying he's a game manager, but he's not Big Ben a couple years ago, throwing 400 yards a game. He's not sitting back and throwing it a bunch. But if he makes clutch throws and the defense, is just relentless and getting turnovers, this team's going to be hard to beat. Now, if Big Ben gets hurt and starts throwing picks, that's a different story. But their defense just keeps getting turnovers, and that's how you win games.
Yeah, I mean, this defense carried them to 8 wins last year with Duck Hodges and Mason Rudolph, so that tells you what kind of big time this defense is. I got to tell you, at one point, though, I do still worry about Big Ben's health. He still sometimes resorts to old-time Big Ben where you just stand in the pocket and just willing to take a hit. He got tackled on one play, and they showed a trainer like nursing his elbow. And I literally, my jaw dropped. I was as scared as I've been in the last 10 years of rooting for sports. I've never been more scared in my life than when they were looking at his elbow. But he came back in and he was fine. But it just goes to show you, anytime he takes a big hit, he's old. I'm just worried that he's going to get hurt. So that's the only thing. That's the biggest threat to the Steelers. I don't think it's anything particular. It's just the risk of Big Ben getting hurt because, you don't even have Duck Hodges on the roster anymore. Who's it? Mason Rudolph. I don't trust Mason Rudolph in the playoffs,
No, I wouldn't either, unless it's to start shit with another player.
To bait another quarterback or another Myles Garrett situation, we'll see. But,
yeah. Well, hey, Whitey, we appreciate you calling in tonight. Some good stuff from you. And did you get out there and vote? Because, if you don't tell people, it doesn't even count. So.
Yeah, I didn't tell people. And my political leanings will not be shared on this show because I'm all about sports, bro. But
yeah.
I did vote absentee ballot like a few weeks ago. But, yeah, this is going to be a wild night.
Well, hey, we're glad you're a part of it, and we'll talk to you next week, man.
All right, guys.
All right, so, some good stuff from Whitey. I mean, obviously, it's like every week we touch on kind of the Patriots sucking, and then it's the Steelers being great. It's the Steelers they've been, ever since they traded for Minkah Fitzpatrick, they've just, they've really gone on a run here, and their defense is very impressive with T.J. Watt. I mean, pretty much in the backfield on like every play. It's really incredible the level he's playing at. You know, I thought T.J. Watt. I didn't think somebody could come out of that family and be better. You know, when I heard he had a brother, I was like, you know, he won't be close to J.J. Watt, but T.J. Watt is extremely impressive and definitely having a defensive player of the year candidacy this year.
You don't think Derek Watt is competing with those two for breadwinner there?
I just feel like, you know, when I heard like J.J. Watt had like a brother, I was like, there's no way he'll be like nearly as good. I mean, it's just amazing. It must be awesome to be that father.
Or the Bosa's father.
Very
the
true.
Bosa's father. Yep, the Ball's father.
Stop it.
But that's not even.
He shouldn't be mentioned on this program.
Why not? He's got two. He's got a second overall pick and a number 1 pick.
Because he had his moment in the sun being an ignorant a-hole, and I'd like to not give him any more minutes in that sun. LeVar Ball is a good father and maybe entertaining to hang out with. He's not worth my time.
I think he's pretty entertaining on those talk shows. Like when he would tell like Christine Leahy to like, you know, he was telling her to like look the other way.
Stay in her lane, I believe.
He was like telling her like not to look at him. I mean, he's just like insane.
I'm married. You will not talk to Christine Leahy that way. I don't care who you are. I'll come for you. Christine Leahy is a treasure.
So let's see. Dalvin Cook ran all over the Packers. I mean, that was absolutely incredible. It was like every time they gave him a ball, it was like another touchdown. I mean, that guy's got a touchdown every 10 times he touches it. It's nuts. He's got like 12 touchdowns, and he's like missed a week or two. But how about this? Tua, in his first game against the Dolphins, you figured if they were going to put up a lot of points, Tua would have some part to do with it. But that Dolphins offense just came alive, and Russell Wilson, you know, continued his MVP run. I feel like DK Metcalf is consistently coming on week after week. If there's someone we're talking about every week, it seems to be Russell Wilson and DK Metcalf. I mean, they're just putting together a clinic out there, and DK Metcalf really seems to be coming into his own. Is he the best young receiver in the game right now?
That is a very good question. I'm going to say yes. I wasn't prepared for that. I'm going to say yes.
I'm going to say no. I think you put A.J. Brown on the Seahawks, and he's putting up I think you put DK Metcalf on the Titans. He's putting up nowhere near the numbers. He's in a perfect system where Russell Wilson's the best deep pass thrower in the NFL, and he is a great deep runner. And he is fast as hell, and no one's catching him. Like, I mean, the replays you see of DK Metcalf catching a touchdown is usually on like a 60-yard bomb.
Yep.
He gets like 4 catches a game, and they're just like 2 like 60-yard passes.
That's why I thought it was big this week when he had like 9 catches or something, because it kind of showed that he could do a little bit more than just that deep. But I mean, he still had like a 48-yard touchdown, so I totally hear you.
He also, this year compared to last year, has made significantly more contested catches.
Yep.
I mean, every time he catches one of those 60-yard bombs, somebody's there trying to rip the ball out, and it's not happening. He has, those 2 go-ahead touchdowns this year in the fourth quarter? And both of them, there was a defender draped on him. One of them, he got a flag for defensive pass interference, and he no-sold it, caught the ball anyway. I mean, the reason I said yes to the question is because I think your question was, is he the most talented? I don't know if it was best or most talented. I think it was who's the most talented young receiver. And I have to say DK Metcalf. I love A.J. Brown. He reminds me of T.O. That's my type of receiver.
Yep.
For all those moss lovers out there, not for me. I don't need that number 1 receiver. I need the guy that can go over the middle. I love A.J. Brown. But I think DK Metcalf has more unteachable skills than Brown could dream of having.
Yeah, he's just a combine freak. And I feel like at the weren't they saying that DK Metcalf wasn't fast? I mean, has he proved that wrong?
No, I believe it was they weren't sure if he could be as fast in pads as he was outside of pads because he's a track star.
I think he's proved that one wrong.
Yeah.
But that is going to do it for us here on Open Season Election Night. We appreciate you guys tuning in for and a little bit earlier tonight. But that's going to wrap it up for us, and we will check you next week.
Vote.
I'm just not sure that Kyler Murray is big enough. This is Tom Brady. He's not just going to retire. Whitey, big fan of the show. Appreciate I've got Brian Murphy to my left, making sure everything's smooth, crispy, buttery. James Harden is systematically ruining the game of basketball. He's the most overrated player. And there you are, the Chicago Bears with a championship defense. And Mitch, I'm sure Dancing with the Stars is happy to have Antonio back. If you thought you were going to get Zion, that's your